name's Ackeem Salmon, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist based in Detroit, Michigan. My practice is both in visual and performance art. My work being rooted in history, memory, and place, it is so much where I start to think about the duality of memory, so both the ephemerality as well as its permanence. So the work that I am doing, it's really looking at how do we document time? You know, what does it mean to document time in its holistic form? So my mediums I use, it is between photography, painting, mixed media, as well as drawing in terms of the visual work. So when I ground my work in photography, it's and photography and art direction specifically. So being able to create a moment, at the same time you're capturing that moment where this is what is in front of me, I can't dispute it. But then you start to see that work evolve over time, and then as you see that work evolve over time, as you start to look at, you know, what was happening in those historical contexts of Renaissance paintings and these different artistic movements where these painters and our visual artists would kind of illustrate their emotive context in connection to their painting techniques. So what has been a thrill within the work that I'm doing, it's looking at that dance where I'm documenting a specific moment, but then over time it's changing. Yeah, Detroit has made an immense impact to my practice today. I would say if it wasn't because of Detroit, I wouldn't have the tools or the skill sets that I've had today. So for me, I'm originally from Jamaica. I moved to Detroit in 2014. So I was 16. I went to Detroit School of Arts. And yeah, through all the folks that I've met has really catapulted so many different forms of curiosities. So being able to have had the different mentorships, both in from painting through design, and then all the mentorships and folks I've met through music, it has really allowed me to consider what does memory look like for me. I was extremely excited to even see this as an opportunity. I think for me, in so many different ways, what are the platforms that us as local creatives are able to have in terms of these cross-cultural exchanges. So for me, seeing this is like, you know, what does it exist in the framework of like cultural diplomacy and cultural exchange? So for the works that I've been doing since, you know, Jamaica and then Detroit, and then I also used to live in Paris in 2017 to 2018. For me, it was very aligned, and I felt that it was such like succinct timing where I could, yeah, get this opportunity to create new body of work. It is so much of the foundation of why I started making artwork. I think of it in so many different ways where I think, as I mentioned, as you know, growing up as a child, you never notice all of these like kind of subconscious things happening around. So like I grew up like seeing people on stilts walking around, and I would be traumatized, you know, during Christmas holiday. I'm like, what is these people wearing masks? I didn't realize even how empowering it is, or it was for me to move from Jamaica to Detroit. Because for me, it's like growing up in Jamaica, it's a majority Black country, and then come to Detroit, it's a majority Black city. And I think for me, it was seeing that overlap where I start to be thankful for even the things that I learned growing up in Jamaica. And in terms of learning things like John Kuno and the masquerades, to understand that this was a form of psychological resistance during the time of slavery. Like today, as like I look at how I move and navigate, and as like, you know, I engage with folks in Detroit, it's the same kind of resistance. You know, this flavor where, for me, like I know what my island of birth went through in so many contexts of history. So it's for me in my work is paying attention to paying attention to and giving the space for those that have come before me, and even more so recognizing how their stories have impacted the way that I think. As a Black artist, as an immigrant artist or as an artist based in Detroit, it's recognizing that those ancestral fights of being that we are able to support our community, support the co-creation of our futures. And being in Detroit affirms that in so many different ways. So for what I have been able to learn and to experience as my childhood and Caribbean history, coming to Detroit allowed me a space to also share that and also to absorb. And being able to kind of sit at this intersection has really cemented like my reason to stay. Yeah, I think this is providing necessity. I often talk about artist infrastructure, because currently there isn't. I think artists are navigating an active world that takes from them but doesn't necessarily build with them.
Interesting.
So in so many ways, what is the ways that we're honoring artists as cultural diplomats, and in terms of what we need now is seeing artists as a key asset to build bridges. And I feel that opportunities like these open those exchanges where they're like these contexts in different cities have an opportunity to learn from each other. Through learning from each other, then there become opportunities where ideas and opportunities can open up, because those cities realize that, oh, there are these things that I can benefit from you through this bridge building. And artists are a huge vehicle in that, not politicians, not governments. It is the ways that we can emotionally resonate with one another. Because someone, like far East Europe or West Africa may not ever know of like what Detroit has experienced. They will often hear on the surface level of like, oh, this happened and maybe Detroit's this or it's that, and there's all these kind of stereotypes, but then they don't get the depth in which and the richness of what actually is here through the people. And the way to get that is through the artists. Same as learning from artists from Paris, learning from artists from Ethiopia, learning from artists from any specific geographies. It allows that individual and it allows that larger exchange to be longer maintained. I feel now more than anything, we need clear advocates and storytellers and narrators of where we have gone and where we're going. In a larger international geopolitical world that we are in now, being able to genuinely share as a united front what is Detroit's history is important. I feel that as you can look at, looking at Jamaica, for instance, you can see how wonderfully the brand Jamaica is. I think us as Jamaican, it's like, I didn't expect to see this Jamaican product in Russia or just anywhere that's just far out, but it's there. So I think, and it's very, very specific because Detroit has gone through so many different changes. Where we are, I feel the dust has been settling, that we're finally, truthfully having a united space where, wow, we have gone through so much, but we're still going. And I feel this is a perfect opportunity to show the world that as a united front, we are still going.
Oh yeah.
And that united front is reciprocated in such a way that we have much to share and to teach and to collaborate. And through allowing the creatives that have been nurtured by the city, that are the bedrock and the builders of the city, how do you provide the opportunities for them to be those institutions, not fixed geographical spaces or buildings, but those mobile institutions that you can empower to mobilize, that these are the histories, these are the individuals, these are the ways that we can look at allocating capital and resources. How do you start to think of equity when those people that are amidst those communities that desire equity, and you aren't receiving those specific primary sources that would push those initiatives forward, and to be able to have that through the creative workforce and to be able to see those individuals as those mobilizers is a way, I believe that allows the larger conversation of equity. Like, what happens in Detroit is not only unique to Detroit. It is just an example or a microcosm of what has happened throughout the globe, but also what is possible. Returning to Detroit, this specific opportunity really builds on the work I've been really cultivating over the past 9 years now. And I feel that has been just this kind of quiet, slow but steady relationship building across borders. And I think for me, it's even getting more of this form of validity or validation through an institution. So an institution like FEU or Detroit Salon in the city of Detroit, to bring further data to the work that, where I start to see what I'm doing as a vehicle to invite others. I see this as a further opportunity, because I'm also getting the final opportunity to revisit artwork I made back in 2018. When I first lived in Paris. When I came back to Detroit, later that year, I was just running and going, because that's the reality of us as artists, as individuals. It's just, you don't stop. So for me to get this opportunity to sit and to really create this work and to process and to really genuinely connect under the context of me being an artist, not just like a whole entity that is trying to just survive, it creates a different opportunity for me to take from this space. But also, when I do come back to Detroit, what are the relationships and connections that I can really solidify, that, through the mentorships and the relationships that have made my practice what it is, what can happen when those individuals also have that system and that reason, because their stories also need to be told. And I feel having these genuine spaces where it's more intentional and not who's the loudest voice in the room or the loudest or angriest voice, because that's what unfortunately gets at the top of the feed, but the gentle spirits that have been doing this work for decades, and they have been pouring into the community, and before their last breath, or the opportunities where we can start to think about policy and future geopolitical collaborations, I feel that this is what I kind of take from this opportunity coming back, and what I can create as public resources, and presenting this as a body of a work, or presenting this exhibition, where I can also take this as a framework for those in Detroit public schools, or in different ways that this experience can have its life on its own. It means a huge deal. I think in some different ways when I think of Detroit, um, I truthfully feel that as a black city and a city that has been built by many hands and have made the lives of many, to really own that pride,
Yeah.
to own that care of like what has happened, and to recognize that within that care, um, that their dreams and desires are possible. And I feel opportunities that open up, that center the city by being itself. And
Yeah.
like, I'm from Detroit, and I'm based in Detroit, but I'm just going X place. It gives a different framework where it is possible to stay and thrive in Detroit.
Yeah.
And opportunities like this and more of these opportunities and investment in artists like myself. There's other artists that are doing such incredible work. What happens when you truthfully do get behind those artists, behind them that have been rooted in the city, but allowing them to mobilize across the world? Because when we start to do that, yes, they may leave, they may go on a residency,
Yeah.
they may go and do a long-term project, but the ripple effect is that then they bring that back. This was In the Salon with Ackeem Salmon, and thanks for tuning in.